Solidaridad, an international non-governmental organization, has in recent years instituted a unique approach to agricultural development in the West African sub-region, promoting management and agronomic practices that engender change. That change that brings significant and sustainable improvement in the lives of the people. Change that matters.
Solidaridad is a global network organization, an NGO, and our vision is to see a world where whatever we produce and consume is done sustainably without compromising the environment and ensuring that it also brings in profitability to those who are engaged in the different sectors. And we work in different supply chains across the globe. Specific to West Africa, we're working on 6 supply chains: cocoa, oil palm, gold, maize systems, cotton and soy. Our uniqueness lies in the fact that we see supply chain actors, particularly the private sector, as a very critical element in addressing any supply chain inefficiencies or challenges. So our unique selling point is that we don't engage in improving efficiencies in supply chains without working with the private sector. And we have the Sustainable West Africa Oil Palm Program, usually referred to as SWAP.
Globally and regionally in West Africa, there's an unmet need for palm oil. So what the SWAP program is trying to do is to work with all actors along the supply chain to increase productivity and profitability. Basically doing that. So these are the key objectives of the SWAP program.
There are 5 main components of the program. The first component is the Best Management Practice Approach, BMP. The second is an intervention referred to as the Incubator and Access to Finance. The third component is the Network for Information Exchange. The fourth component is the Roundtable for Sustainable Oil Palm, RSPO certification. And the fifth component looks at the economic viability and sustainability of the entire oil palm supply chain and examines its environmental and social impact.
BMP, in its general term, is an agronomic technique which uses best management practices in plantation management to enforce farm management so as to increase yields as you reduce your costs as well. In order to achieve your BMP standard, we need 5 major steps. And the first step is what we call the field access. Second one is what we call a weed management or ground cover management. The third one is pruning and canopy management. Fourth one is fertilizer application. And then the fifth one is the routine harvesting and then farm records keeping.
Somewhere, I think in the January of 2013 when they came and said they want to work with me. They have seen the farm, they have taken soil samples. They said, okay, give us a piece of your land, about 3 acres. We are going to term it BMP, Best Managed Product, or Best Managed Practice. And you give us an equal size of land or plots in the same farm. That will be our reference. On that side of the farm, you do whatever you want. But on the BMP, we will instruct you, we will tell you, we will show you what to do. We thought we were doing the right thing. You see, our weeding method was not the correct one. The harvesting practice was not the right one. At times before you get to the trees, you find it very difficult to get access to the palm trees. Before you get there, there is a whole lot of rotten fruits which go waste. That was our old method of harvesting.
talk about field access, talking about the footpaths, we talk about palm circles, and then whatever will ensure that at least a worker, a field worker or a field supervisor or whoever can get to each and every single palm within the field without any obstructions.
When I saw how easy now it was to work in the BMP plot, the environment, just the easy access to the farm prompted me to do more, extend it further.
Oma sisi a bekwaba ebinkamu mi gina chiri kwa mi hu se abeda ho anama kofa ebinkamu a anama fobo mitumi fa moto no natimu hwehwe.
In the weed management approach, we try to eliminate the stubborn weeds, whilst we encourage rather soft weeds. When you have a lot of soft weeds within your field, I mean, one person can sort of slash an acre or two within a day. But with the stubborn weeds, you cannot even do a quarter of it.
After clearing the whole farm, then they have allowed me to do pruning. They taught me how to prune the correct way of pruning the palm trees.
Routinely, in an economic sense, at least the farmer should go to do his pruning twice in a year. And you reduce the number of fronds, it means you are starving the palm. If it is too much, the older ones beneath are rather taking some food from the palm without helping the palm in any way. We sort of train the farmers on the right amount of fronds that they have to leave on the tree. And when you come to the fertilizer application, since the start of the program, I know most of the farmers didn't even know the type of fertilizer to apply and even the amount to apply. The 4R principles, when you teach the farmers through that line, it sticks into their minds. The first R, we call it the right type of fertilizer. At least when fertilizer going to apply fertilizer, you first know about the type of fertilizer you're going to apply. The second is the right amount of fertilizer you have to apply, depending on the age of the palm. The third one is the right place of where you have to apply within the palm. And then the last one is the right time, which normally is within when it is raining, but not too heavy rains and not too dry periods. The last one is the routine harvesting. Because the farmers most of them do it within 2 weeks, some do it 1 month, some do it within 6 weeks, and so on. Because it thinks that is where you have a lot of fruit to harvest. But in actual sense, he's losing more than he's having. Because before you go in 1 month time, I mean, a lot of the fruit have shed or have gotten rotten. So it means we are rather throwing your money in the field. So we introduce what we call the 10-day routine harvesting. And with that approach, at least before you go into harvest, all your fruit is intact, ripe and intact.
Lorsque nous débutons le projet BMP avec la FENACOPACI, j'avoue qu'il y a beaucoup de partenaires qui ne croyaient pas à ce qu'on allait dérouler sur le terrain. Qu'au niveau des producteurs, on sent un dynamisme qui est en train de se créer au niveau surtout des producteurs et de leurs coopératives. Et ces producteurs et ces coopératives ont même appelé à ce qu'on puisse intégrer l'ensemble de ces activités qu'on est en train de pouvoir sur le terrain dans les cahiers des charges au niveau de l'encadrement en Côte d'Ivoire. Donc seulement après 6 mois, les planteurs et les coopératives ont déjà vu les résultats de ces bonnes pratiques que nous avons essayé de promouvoir au niveau du projet BMP. Et donc notre chemin est encore long, certainement que cette année 2015, nous allons atteindre une vitesse de croisière avec 8 nouvelles parcelles BMP qu'on va déployer au centre et au sud-ouest de la Côte d'Ivoire. Donc avec, je vais dire, ces nouvelles parcelles, nous allons nous étendre et apporter le message de bonne pratique aussi aux planteurs qui sont autour de ces industries dans ces régions. J'avoue que pour 6 mois d'exercice sur le terrain, nous sommes largement satisfaits de ce que nous voyons en termes d'enthousiasme et en termes de dynamisme qu'on a créé au niveau des coopératives et des producteurs.
tama na Solidaridad from a family phone as a BMP no na abeba ku bia mudru no na 6.5 but sisi abe mfi menu entemini me no kase sisi abeba ku bia mudru no 10.4 a je se emu dru na akosro pa afin so tama mo mai na per hectare no na minya 11.5 but last year minya 18.5 metric ton per hectare at 2014 sisi a metwam 19 tons metric tons per hectare. It is a enkwanimu papa.
So the first year the average yield increase we had in the Swap West was 3.1 tons per hectare of over the reference plot. The second year, currently we are in November, and then most of the farms are doing between 15 tons to 19 tons per hectare as at November. And then the non-BMP farm or the reference farm is still struggling between 7 and 7.5 tons per hectare. So you can see that in the second year, our yield is almost doubling. And then that's the time that your cost is also going down. So in the second year, one, farm maintenance cost was very low, and then two, the fertilizer cost was also low. But if you look at the yield increase, we are almost doubling yield, which means that if you translate into money, then this year we are going to have at least 1,500 Ghana cedis over the reference plot, which is in fact a lot of money. And we expect this increase to go high in the third year, where the full impact of the fertilizer that has been applied in the first and second year will fully kick in.
Within the community, people are seeing better changes in other people's farming. A lot of people want to be part of the program, but because of our numbers, we can also not increase it. So what we are trying to do is to do the group demonstrations, demonstrating best practice for them. And a lot of people have used that practice back into their own farms.
When I got into farming, I didn't know a lot about the farming practices because I was a student in business. So I didn't really have the basics in farming. When I got introduced to the SWAP program, I started practicing the best management practices on the farm. So from there, the work started becoming easy for me and interesting. Through the BMP program, other farmers who passed by my farm saw the difference on my farm. I also educated them on the program. I had a lot of palm oil farmers in the area register to be trained in the best management practices. So currently I'm the secretary of the Palm Oil Farmers Association in my community.
The oil palm sector is not very organized, and through our efforts we are improving the self-organization of smallholders, bringing them together in groups, assisting them with the training and services that will help them to be able to engage with the other supply chain actors. Currently, we're working with some groups, 2 or 3 of them, to put them into very formidable associations with clear governance structures so that they can engage with the sector.
We see Oil Palm Farmers Association and a yes,
Ejumadi no amudi ba e mumudi Solidaridad ba ndi e ejumapa e assume say ye be yakọ enim first na yayira enim de ye abenu no say ya do aye nusu saa keke na mo ba ya di kire mo abekire afi na yanya na ase ya da first say ya de akuo no ama ye ni abi o ejuma no.
What we are getting at the moment on the farm is, tremendous. This is what I can describe. The bunch quantity on the distance on the trees have increased. Our cost of slashing has come down.
Now, as I'm speaking to you now, the harvest they have increased from the 4 tons to 12 tons per hectare per annum. So it's about 3 times, threefold.
No, if you tell me you're BMP, no, who say, of course, the same, me
Because of what is happening on this BMP plot, a lot of nearby farmers are now copying very fast from me. If you go around, you see them also. They are trying to do what I'm also doing. They come to me, then I impart some of my knowledge to them. So a lot of farmers around this area, they are now also benefiting from what we have learned from Solidaridad.
Solidaridad also works with the larger oil palm plantations in advancing the principles of best management practices.
The BMP partnership idea was a tripartite agreement signed between IPNI, NORPALM, and Solidaridad. Our prime objective was to ensure that we increase our yields because our yields are low, and we believed that if we embraced the BMP concept, our yields will grow over time and we'll be able to achieve significant increases in yields, leading to increases in our bottom line. Currently, we have 150 hectares under the BMP. This year, we've managed to also roll out some aspects of the BMP in about 500 hectares. The plan is to roll over 1,000 hectares in 2015, with a possible full rollout of the entire plantation in 2017.
Donc, au niveau des plantations BMP, nous avons comme innovation pu réaliser l'endainage en U. Donc, c'est une nouvelle approche dans notre activité de conseil agricole. En plus de l'endainage en U, nous avons pu optimiser la récolte, donc la qualité de la récolte. Aujourd'hui, on n'a plus de fruits dans les plantations. Donc, tous les fruits sont ramassés. On a également pu mettre des sentiers de collecte, donc qui facilitent le déplacement dans les plantations.
The oil palm is a water-loving plant. You need as much as between 1,500 and 3,000 millimeters of water, evenly distributed across the year, to enable you to generate or have good yields. This irrigation trial is a collaboration between SWAP, IPNI, and NORPALM. And the main objective is to determine maximum yield potential of this field under non-limiting conditions of moisture and nutrition. SWAP's main role in this collaboration is that they are footing the bills. They are footing the entire bill for the irrigation trial over the next 3 years, and also bringing in the consultants for the necessary training throughout the trial phase, which will last about 3 years, following which we would either decide whether to roll out irrigation on parts of the plantation where we have river courses or not.
The other trend aspect of the best management approach is also with the mills. There's a correlation between the fruits and the mill. We have noticed that the type of mills that our people are using in the sub-region are quite substandard, and they are also very obsolete. The technology is very obsolete. So we are saying that if we are promoting best management practices of the farms, it is important that we look at the downstream side of the processing so that you can improve the processing technology. That we also call our best management mills.
In all the aspects of the technical component, the main focus is what are the things that limit efficiency of these artisanal mills, what are we do to actually improve on the efficiencies so that they can also get more and virtually pay the farmer more. It was identified later that the main area of flaws is actually at the point of extraction, at the time of oil recovery. So we designed a model whereby we'll try to experiment with screw presses, single worm screw presses, to replace the manual spindle presses. And as I speak with you now, Solidaridad's project, which is the SWAP project, has actually invested in 20 screw presses that have been distributed on high pitches to 20 different artisanal mills in the 3 central, eastern, and the western regions.
We have an intervention we call or refer to as incubator and access to finance. People can apply to the incubator we give them the resources that they're asking for if we can, and then we put them through an incubation phase. And during the incubation phase, we are providing you not only the financial assistance, but we're also providing them technical services, business advisory support, business management. All that service we render to you under the incubator is free technical service we are giving you. So under the access to finance, what we are supporting the SMEs to do is to help them develop bankable proposals, and then we link them up to sources of financing. So while we have money given out, we are minded that we need to look for money also and other financiers to help us sustain what we are doing under the SWAP program.
Yamene ne panim emra ya de afidie no ya try ya meyire enso toto abenu bi eye nti ya de ne de na try na aba onu a wo tank mu a wonum se ewo old you know afidie no so a ne onya no onya wei ma ebi ebro so a na nije papa nti ya che me nkuran se wo afei na yakopon etie ya mpai boma Yankopon afie die ebeye money na nasa ponkuma nkuma yafi sign Solidaridad one project swap.
For medium-sized mills and other companies, they are the people we refer to now as our first beneficiaries of the incubator fund. They have accessed different sums of money to invest in capacity improvement and efficiency improvements of their mills. Before these investments were done, we actually did audits on their setups to see what the bottlenecks were, and then the interventions or the machinery that can be put in place to take care of these bottlenecks.
Currently, Solidaridad has offered us approximately 345,000 Ghana cedi in the form of equipment. These equipment are sterilizers, 2 units of 2.5 metric tons sterilizers, and then 1 unit of steam boiler with the technical support from the male experts from Solidaridad. We are now able to get a higher oil yield. Previously we were at 10% and 12%, but now we are coasting home 16%, 17%. We expect that we can do better, let's say to 18% if possible. That is by putting in place certain technological support from Solidaridad.
We want to pride ourselves as a knowledge hub. Solidaridad generally, we call ourselves regional expertise centers. So we also want to have an expertise center within the oil palm program that we are implementing. We've done a lot of studies on mills, studies on farms. We looked at profitability of mills, which we have put on our website. The idea is to create this interactive platform so people can engage with other sectors or other partners involved in the sector, learn the best management practices, and show our farmers the way forward.
Solidaridad nous transmet les informations, l'actualité donc dans le secteur du palmier à huile international et national. Nous transmet toutes ces informations-là, cette actualité-là que nous conservons. Et quand nous avons besoin d'informations dans le secteur, par exemple, nous avons eu besoin d'informations quant à la mise en place, quant à la réalisation d'une étude d'impact environnemental. Donc le cabinet Solidaridad nous a orientés donc pour aller vers les sources de ces informations-là, à savoir la NDE, le ministère de l'Environnement et tout ça, pour qu'on puisse avoir les informations dont on avait besoin.
Our component D is looking at what we call Roundtable and Sustainable Oil Palm, RSPO certification. It's about standards. There are standards of behavior, standards of practices that oil palm farms must go through, that conditions. So those conditions are the ones that we are facilitating, so that we are not just interested in increases in yields or efficiency of mills or making money available, but we're also interested that the oil palm practitioners, what we call them practitioners, do the work that they are doing in a very sustainable manner. They get the incomes that they are supposed to get. They preserve the environment for what I will describe as intergenerational equity. You leave it behind for others to also benefit from. You don't destroy it. So that's what the RSPO component D is about.
We started this whole process by sensitizing the smallholders on RSP certification. We put them in groups. I mean, they were unorganized independent smallholders doing their own things. So for us to be able to reach out to our target of 2,000, we sensitized the smallholders in the Eastern, Western, Central, and Ashanti regions. So farmers that were really interested have been put in groups. We've registered the groups as legal entities, and we are in the process of registering them as RSP members to go through the certification process.
The major players, the major buyers of palm oil have pledged that they will only buy palm oil from sustainable sources. And one needs to achieve the RSPO certificate to prove that your operations are indeed sustainable.
For the mills in Nigeria, there's that drive, there's that desire to want to work towards RSPO certification, and there's this requirement for getting an agency with the required expertise to help them go through that process. It's a voluntary process, but you need some measure of experience in that field to be able to facilitate a successful interpretation of the RSPO standards. And that's what the kind of support Solidaridad is providing to the RSPO stakeholder forum in Nigeria.
And I will tell you in particular, they have assisted us technically, providing technical assistance. They have also helped us in taking the process further. And also they have given us, donated for us the secretariat of the working group, all thanks to Solidaridad.
Solidaridad, or SWAP for that matter, managed to get us about $18,000, and so we use that to help in producing training materials, and then paying for training that we did for the smallholders, and that's how come we are here today, certified. And that makes Bob the first in Ghana and the second in Africa to be RSPO certified.
Our last component, we have a dedicated intervention which is looking at the economic viability and sustainability of the entire oil palm work that we are facilitating. So in a nutshell, that's about the SWAP.
Solidaridad works very closely with the Oil Palm Research Institute in Ghana and the Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research in Nigeria to further advance the objectives of the SWAP program.
I know Solidaridad, they do a lot of work with the small farmers, and I think it is something which is useful, because OPRI, we are unable to go to the farmers. We do not have the resources. Even if we have the knowledge, we don't have the resources to go around like Solidaridad can. So their work, it really is very good, because that is what should have been going on, and backing up and telling, do this, do this. But unfortunately, we can't do it. MOFA cannot do it. So if they are helping that way, it is very, very nice.
And basically, first we want to first of all let the producers know that just adopting best practices alone first can impact and improve their productivity. And doing that, from a reference plot which we have here, for instance, we'll find that we're able to, without any additional input, just basically weeding and proper harvesting and pruning, we're already getting close to 22 tons of fresh fruit bunch per year without additional inputs. So if we then put additional inputs as fertilizers, for instance, you can't sustain such yield levels. And those are what we are trying to also establish in the farmers' fields. And when then we upscale what we are doing presently, because we are not presently working on a small scale, work on a larger scale and upscale it, then we think we can impact farmers greatly, and then those farmers can learn from other farmers who are producing oil palm.
Top has benefited a lot from SWAP in terms of they are more, SWAP is more into sustainable projects, how the business will be sustainable. Best management practices about sustainability of the business. Roundtable on palm oil is also about sustainability of the palm oil business. So our relationship with SWAP has given us a hope for the future, because they are looking at the future of the business. Because if you have a concept of BMP which is looking at yield intensification, then that means that the business will continue to survive irrespective of the challenges that the oil palm business is facing.
Solidaridad's approach is we don't go giving handouts. As people say, teach someone how to fish and you always fish, instead of giving me a fish to eat. That's the same philosophy, and for us that's what we have couched in the slogan, change that matters. We need to change or move from business as usual approaches and confront development using a new set of tools at our disposal, being very innovative and seeing how those innovations can be integrated into the various producing communities in a manner that it is self-propelling, that after the program people can continue to do what is right. So capacity development is very critical for us. Building capacity within organizations, within communities, within the private sector to carry on the good work that we do.
District best oil palm farmer.
Well, we are very excited with our partnership with Solidaridad, because we think Solidaridad is a very good partner to help us produce durable palm oil by respecting the best practice and being very close to the good principle that guide the RSPO, which is the standard of producing durable palm oil.
We're very encouraged by the current government that really wants to make agriculture a priority again in Ghana and reorganize the way they stimulate growth in the sector, so that is good. And we also see that finally that Ghanaian entrepreneurs also from the cities now see the opportunities in agriculture and no longer see it as something for small people, but see it as serious business, which it is.
This is a fantastic project, in my opinion. Out of the last 30 years of doing field work in agriculture in all the regions of humid tropics, this project to me has the biggest potential to have huge impact on livelihoods of people in West Africa.
I think Solidaridad has been extremely, very, very good for this sector. And as a ministry, we intend to work very closely with them because the model they are using is one that I think we need to encourage going forward. It focuses on ensuring that at the level of production, all the key people involved are upping their game. I mean, rising up to the challenge, identifying what they need to do themselves in terms of the agronomic practices, in terms of the best management practices that should bring about higher productivity, and also leveraging various credit and financing in order to support these value chains. And also they have an incubation process that clearly helps people to really get going. And I think it's a model that we want to study closely and see how we can encourage them towards replicating that to different other value chains as well. So Solidaridad has been extremely very good, and I think it's a model that government obviously wants to encourage.